Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
So loosen the lug nuts of the vehicle on the ground. The wheel and tire doesn't move on you. Go around and loosen all of them. Raise and support the vehicle. We've used our 2-post lift, but you can use the jack and jack stands. Finish removing the lug nuts and remove the wheel. To remove this axle nut, there's no cotter pin. It's just a lock nut with a large amount of torque on it. But you want to be able to remove it. You can either have someone hold the brake, because this will want to spin as you try to remove it, or we can pop out the center cap of the wheel, reinstall the wheel, lower the vehicle back down to the ground with the vehicle's weight on it, loosen the axle nut. To remove the center cap, it just pops out from behind. And just put that aside. Reinstall the wheel. You don't have to put all the lug nuts back on. Since we've got 6, I'm just going to do 4 of them. We're just going to put the wheel back on so it's flush, and we put the vehicle down on it. Spray some rust penetrant on here to help the nut come off. Use the long breaker bar, a 34mm socket. Break this loose. To help me take it off, I've switched to a ratchet. I'm going to remove it just to the end of the threads. This way, when the vehicle's in the air, I'll be able to spin it off. It won't want to turn on me. And leave it just like that. I'm going to spray some rust penetrant in here on the splines. I want to make sure that this CV axle will come loose from the wheel bearing and knuckle. So I'm going to tap on it. You want to tap on it with the nut here, because this way, actually I'll spin this down so it's flush with the end of the axle shaft. You don't want to damage the end of the axle shaft. So by tapping on it with the nut, it'll prevent you from potentially mushrooming out the end of the axle shaft if you want to reuse it. There should be some in and out play on this. And I just want to make sure that when I loosen this knuckle and pull it down, that the axle shaft will actually come free. So I'm just going to tap it some more. We're going to loosen the knuckle and tilt it down from the strut. I don't want to hang it by the rubber brake hose. So I'm going to remove the caliper and hang it from the strut. Use a 13mm box wrench to loosen the caliper slide bolts. There's one on the bottom and the top. Put those aside. Slide the caliper off the brake pads. Grab a bungee cord, loop it around the strut. This one's a bit long. Give it a couple loops here. Use the 10mm socket, extension, ratchet, and remove the 10mm bolt. Holding in the wheel speed sensor, the wire clips to the strut and then bolts into the knuckle. I don't want to stretch the wire and break it when I remove the knuckle from the strut. So we're going to get this ABS sensor out of the way. Just unthread the bolt. And twist it. Kind of stuck in there. Twist it back and forth. Don't pull on the wires. Work it back and forth and then wiggle it out. We'll put that up here out of the way. I'm going to remove the strut bolts. The head of the bolt is 21mm. The nut is 24mm. I'm going to turn on the nut to remove that. The bolt is also splined and caught in the aluminum knuckle. So it shouldn't move, but I do want to counter hold it just in case it does move. So break this one free. Use a breaker bar, counter hold it, free. Careful not to smash the fender. Once they're loose, you can switch to a ratchet and remove them a little quicker. And leave the nuts just like that. I don't want to damage the end of the bolts because I do need to tap them out. So you're going to take a hammer and just tap these out. I'll take the nuts off. Push in on the knuckle a little bit. Take the bolts out. And this should want to slide down. Tap the axle out of the knuckle. Just a little seized up in there. So tap it a little more. There it is. Pull the CV axle out of the back of the knuckle. Use the large pry bar. Carefully pry on the edge of the CV axle against the transmission case. This CV axle will pop out of the transmission. You may lose some fluid. You might want to have a little drain pan here. And then of course at the end, just check and top off your transmission fluid. So sometimes if you give it a little bit of a bouncing, you might have to go up in this way. I don't want to pry on that hose. Go this way with it. Put the pry on it. Comes off the snap ring. I'm going to switch over here. I'm going to pull it straight out. So there's some transmission fluid coming out. I don't want to damage the seal of the transmission. I'm going to support it, pull it straight out. Pull on the cup, you don't want to just pull on this. You might separate it. So there we have it. Just dripping some fluid, but we'll clean that up and top it off afterwards. Here's our original CV axle we pulled from our vehicle and a brand new one from AWD.com. There's no core charge on this. It's brand new, ready to go. It's the same style and design as the original. This will fit great and work great for you. Comes with a brand new locking nut. We need to swap over this little washer. It's got 3 tabs. We're going to gently pry up on them with a small flat-bladed screwdriver. Pull that off. Wipe it off real quick. Take this axle nut off. New washer on. It's ready to be installed. Just go in here with a rag. Just clean that seal a little bit. It's gonna keep leaking. Basically, I wanna go straight in with this, not damage the seal. Might have to turn it and find the splines. It's gonna get to a point where it's gonna wanna stop because it's hitting the lock ring. Take our dead blow, and we're gonna hit it into place. There it goes. Now it's locked in place. We use some brake parts cleaner and clean up the spilled oil. That way we can tell if there's leaks later on. Just gonna clean off some of this dirt here. Now reinstall the axle, you can bend it. And then we're gonna lift up on the knuckle. And you might have to turn this, get the splines to line up. Should slide right in. Put our new axle nut on here. You don't have to tighten it all the way down. It is a locking one, you can see the little indents there. Let's just get it down to the end of the splines. That way it doesn't fall out. Let's get our strut to knuckle bolts ready to go. Those are those splines I was talking about. Line them up. You can use a jack if you need to. But you want to lift this up, get it into place. Bolt goes through from the back. Get that out of the way. Do the same for the other one. Might have to push on it, get it to line up. They'll kind of collect into those splines that are in there. You can give them a little tap if you want to. But the nuts will draw them in. So we'll snug these up and then torque them afterwards. Do the same for both of them. Torque the nuts to 144 foot-pounds. It clicks, you're all set. Reinstall the ABS wheel speed sensor. It'll slide back into the opening. Reinstall the bolt. Get it threaded in by hand. It's just a steel bolt going into aluminum knuckle. Just gently tighten it up. I don't want to break it off or strip it. So once I feel it get tight, I'll stop. And reinstall the brake caliper. So unhook it from our bungee cord. Don't forget to take it off when you're done. Put the brake caliper back on. Should slide right back on because we haven't changed the brake pads. Reinstall the caliper slide bolts. Snug these up and then torque them afterwards. Torque these to 42 foot-pounds. Once they click, then you're done. I'll just tighten this nut down until it stops, and then lower the vehicle on the ground, and we'll torque it. Don't forget to remove your bungee cord. I touched the brake rotor with greasy hands. I don't want that getting on the braking surface, so I'm going to use some brake parts cleaner and just clean it off. I'll reinstall the wheel, lower the vehicle to the ground, and torque the axle nut. I'm going to torque the lug nuts in a cross pattern to 140 foot-pounds. We're going to torque this axle nut to 173 foot-pounds. When you're all set, simply push the center cap back in place. In a well-ventilated area, we're going to start up and run the vehicle until it comes up to temperature so we can check the transmission fluid. The vehicle up to temperature, the transmission fill and dipstick is down here. I'm going to turn it counterclockwise to unlock it. It'll pull straight up. Dipstick's on the end. I'll wipe it off, put it back in. So that's actually low. I'll just check it again. Turn it in, and then I'll unlock it, pull it out. So yes, that is in fact low. It's not even showing on the stick. Oh, it's very, very low. I'm going to use a long funnel and add the appropriate amount of transmission fluid and type. I'm going to take the funnel out and just check the amount. Install the dipstick. So right there, it's at the max line. That's perfect. Now reinstall the dipstick in the cap. Turn it clockwise to lock it in place and clean up any spilled fluid.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.